What's going on, everybody, and welcome back to Comic Breakdown. In this video, we are going to be jumping into Murderworld. Now, this is going to take place over 5 individual one-shots. This one is Murderworld Avengers, a story written by Jim Zub and Ray Fawkes. The artist is Jethro Morales. The color artist is Matt Milla. And this is jumping us right into it. Feeling very Hunger Games, very Battle Royale, if anybody ever watched that one. Hundreds of people are killed every year in Murderworld. The mastermind behind it being Arcade. It is never at the same place, it is never at the same location. It has always remained hidden until now. We are going to be introduced to an individual by the name of Paul Pasture, a documentarian that is trying to track down Murderworld. Now, make sure you guys have subscribed to the channel, make sure that you like this video, and with that being said, let's dive into this breakdown. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we are picking up with Paul Pasture. He started doing streaming when he was 13 years old. It started with unboxing videos. Slowly, he started to pick up more and more followers. He got a little bit famous, and that is when he got serious. Eventually, the kid was making more money than he knew what to do with. So much that he was able to pay off his parents' home, even buy his own. Donating a lot of his earnings to charity, dogs and cat shelters, refugee relief, all of that good stuff. This only made him more famous. After a couple of years, he started digging into weird footage, urban legends, all of this stuff, trying to debunk it, trying to see if it's real or if it's just fake. That is what brings him to Murderworld. While much of it has just been urban legend, it has just been theories. He has found Murderworld, but this isn't the current one. This is one where at least they had the event taking place. Looking very run down, looking very beat up. It's probably been at least a year, maybe even more, since Murderworld took place at this venue. Going into detail about Murderworld, the winner walking away with $100 million and a new life. What he wants to do is find this place, but he knows that this is all true because of what happened to him today. Today being his 18th birthday. This is when 2 individuals in suits, they show up with a present for him. When he opens up the box, it is a message from Arcade, saying that he is a big fan of the channel that Paul has. He wants to extend an offer, an opportunity to come to Murderworld, that the 2 of them together, they could make a documentary. Saying that he will call him with all the instructions. Of course, he took him up on the offer. Getting to the runway, the plane's taking off into the air. Before he arrived, with his live stream going up, letting everybody know what is going on, what is happening. He has had movie producers, people from all over the industry, offering him millions and millions of dollars for the opportunity to get the footage that he is about to do. As he sits here and he records on his devices, they seem to all go out. Phones, GoPros, all of it. Believing that this is more than likely just part of it. They don't want people recording as they get there, knowing where it is, so on and so forth. But he believes that when he lands and he talks to Arcade, that they'll be able to sort it out and they'll make an exception at least for him. As they all arrive, they get ushered into a hangar. This is where we have a projection to all of the people. Arcade is welcoming them all here. Getting down to business, there are 200 of them. By the end of this contest, there will only be 1 left alive. 1 winner. The game will take as long as it takes, and the only rules are the ones that Arcade makes up. Straight ahead of them, there are 50 survival bags. Weapons, food, shelter, everything that you might need to have that extra edge. With there being 200 contestants, it is a mad dash for the bags. As everyone goes and they grab their bags, we are quickly learning that there are actually 100 survival bags. 50 of them are laced with explosives that when someone opens it up, it goes boom. So this means out of the 100 bags, there is roughly a 50-50 chance that you are getting a bag with the supplies that you actually need. In all of the chaos, this is where we see young Paul. He is freaking out because he was invited here to do a documentary. He is very slowly learning that he is not here for a documentary. He is a contestant. Arcade has set him up. At this point, he has to wonder, is he going to die? Arcade letting everybody know that the gates are going to open up for 60 seconds, that you have 1 minute to get out of this place. The doors will close and everybody still in the hangar is going to die. And so Paul runs. He runs with everything he has and he barely makes it. Out of the 200, 166 remain. This is where they are faced with an obstacle course. All they have to do is cross the course and get through the doors on the other side. And while they start to skip through, they really do believe that this is going to be easy until one guy gets straight decapitated. His head cut clean off. And it came from the shield of Captain America. That is where the Avengers show up on scene. Except these Avengers aren't here to save them. They are here to demolish them. With Arcade creating these more or less Avenger machines. Robotic versions of our Avengers out here laying down the hate on all the contestants. With Arcade saying that he wants Captain America going after Paul. That is where we see Cap trying to chase him down. Paul doing everything he can to stay alive, trying to run from him, but he is unable to outrun this monster. People getting killed left and right. Thor smiting people down with electricity as Cap is about to come down with his shield on young Paul. This is where we see his mutant power activate for the very first time. A giant blast of energy and Captain America is disintegrated right before his very eyes. He is just now for the first time recognizing that he is a mutant. His X gene had kicked in. Now he realizes that he has a fighting chance in this battle, going to the other Avengers and wiping them away with a huge blast of energy. Just like that, they are all toast. And Arcade, he is livid. As he walks into the room, everyone congratulating him, everyone saying that was super awesome. Everybody wanting to be on his side because he may be a prime candidate for helping them get through the game. The perfect individual to team up with. He firmly believed that maybe he could win this game. That, of course, is until a bullet goes right through his freaking brain. Arcade letting it be known that this is a game for human beings. No special advantages, no mutants. They assassinated Paul right then, right there on the spot. 110 contestants are left remaining. A young woman coming over. She seems a little bit upset. The truth is, this kid was set up. Everybody else knew exactly why they were there. But this kid, he had no idea what was going to happen. One by one, all the contestants, they begin to move onto level 2. Paul's body left dying, blood strewn everywhere. Alright gang, so as we dive into this issue, we are picking up with a woman by the name of Eden. We have seen her a handful of times throughout the last issue. This is where we get a little bit of an understanding of who she actually is and why she has come to this contest. Now, Eden is an MMA fighter. Fighting against some of the toughest, she is definitely a rule breaker. She is one that does not show mercy. She breaks bones, she knocks out teeth, she does whatever it takes to win. After one of her last fights, the marketers, they came down hard on her, breaking the arm of one of the contestants in this MMA fight. They are not happy about this because they had a whole ad campaign set up with him, and now he is going to take 8 to 10 weeks just to heal up. She has had 9 violations, 5 formal warnings. Really, what this is coming down to is that they are firing her, is that she has done too many things wrong, she has hurt too many of the other fighters. For them, it's not a sound investment to keep her on board. Later that night, drinking at the bar, she finds herself seeing that Murderworld is on the television. The bartender, knowing a guy that knows a guy, he got the link to watch the live stream. After seeing a little bit and this guy really describing it as 100% survival of the fittest, no rules, all legitimate, Eden found this to be promising. That is what picks us up at level 2. As the doorways open up, what they see is a vast forest. Trees going all the way up to the sky, vegetation in every direction. Their objective is to go down the trail and get to the other side to make it to the next level. Having arrows on the ground, this is a very easy course to follow. As our contestants begin to make it through the jungle, that is where the Spider-Men attack. From Anti-Venom to Peter Parker, Spider-Woman to Venom, they have all come out and they are all here taking out contestants. The last issue we had seen the Avengers. Now it is the army of Spider-Men. The Spider family is here and they are picking off these guys one by one. Like shooting fish in a barrel, they are running terrified. With Eden recognizing that they are going for the contestants that make the most noise, the ones moving the most, and so she tries to stick to the shadows. She tries to not make any kind of noise. This is when one of the Spider-Men, they find Eden and they go to take her down. Having no other option, she tries to fight back. Two other contestants, they see that she is doing this, and so they believe that they need to go help her. As they rush in to help out, they are doing their best to try and hold this Spider-Man down, but they are simply not strong enough to keep it in wraps. That is where we see our boy Leapfrog. He comes into play, grabbing something out of a bag. He takes that bag, throws it onto the Spider-Man, and we see it explode into pieces. He was able to disarm the explosive inside the bag, and he used it as a weapon. That is what picks us up with Black Widow. She has long been on the trail of Arcade, trying to pinpoint the location, trying to figure out where all of this is taking place. That is where she gets in contact with Kitty Pryde. She is talking to the mutants because Paul was a mutant. His X gene had activated while he was at Murderworld, which means they have an opportunity to really try and pin down his location, try to figure out where his gene activated. And while they are able to narrow it down to roughly 9 locations, it appears that the X-Men are not going to be prioritizing this aspect of things. That they are going to let Black Widow focus on taking down Arcade. Natasha was really hoping that the X-Men were gonna help him out, especially after everything that has been going on with Arcade, with how much he has messed with mutants, so on and so forth. You would think that they have an interest in taking him down. But as she prepares to go at it alone, we are taken back to our contestants. As they make it out of the jungle, it doesn't take long for them to find themselves in a frozen wasteland. If they believe that they were outside, this confirms that this is some kind of game, that they are in some kind of dome, maybe a simulation. After roughly about 40 minutes of them hiking up the mountain, that is when they see a cave up ahead. A lot of them tired, ready to take a rest. Many are concerned that this might be a trap. The group really indecisive, we see them split up. About a dozen of them keep hiking up the mountain, while the rest of them, they head over to the cave. Once they get inside, this is where they see Rest Station M. Beds, medical kits, food, showers, everything that you could possibly need to prepare for the next day. Obviously, many of them, they believe that this has gotta be a trick, but by all appearances, it is not. They spent a good hour picking through every single nook and cranny of this place, making sure that there's no traps and making sure that it is legitimate. This is where we learn the name of the individual that helped her out, going by the name of Alex. He's the guy that jumped to her rescue. The two of them talking, eating a little bit of food, trying to make friends, trying to make some kind of alliance. Now, Eden, she is really in this to win it. She is going to do anything possible to win. recognizing that this guy, he really is kind of flirting with her. And so she's gonna use this to her advantage, with Eden going in and kissing him, the two of them getting hot and sweaty. The reason she is doing this is because when the time comes for the choice to be made, for Alex to choose between helping her or letting her die, Alex is going to choose to help her. She believes that she can use this to her advantage, that the sex is just a form of manipulation. This is when Arcade lets them all know, letting them know that there is still 61 contestants left, but 64 people are on the head count. That means 3 of their fellow contestants are actually ruthless assassins. Alright gang, so as we dive into this one shot, there are technically 64 people on the head count. That is because 3 of their fellow contestants are also ruthless assassins. We see Leapfrog eating a sandwich, listening to this over the speaker, with the lights going out. It is an absolute massacre. Leapfrog heading directly for the cave exit, making his way out here. The temperature's freezing, the snow is coming down hard, but this is a better option than being there in the darkness of that cave. By the time that Leapfrog makes it to the exit, there are 31 contestants left. What we learn is that there were never actually any assassins. Everybody just turned on each other when the lights went out. Everyone thinking that somebody else was the assassin, that they were going to kill them first before they got the opportunity to kill them. But with Leapfrog, Eden, and a few other individuals making it out of the cave, they start making their way down the snowy hill, and this is where they run into Wolverine. Now, Leapfrog has heard stories of Wolverine. He's faced against Daredevil, he's faced against Falcon, Iron Man, but at the end of the day, Wolverine is one he has not gone against. In fact, he has been terrified to go against Wolverine, because Wolverine is a psycho, a mindless mutant animal that if you ever see Wolverine, you should probably run for your freaking life. So the minute that Leapfrog sees Wolverine, he is absolutely petrified. Wolverine starts cutting through what survivors are here. Then we see the rest of the Wolverine family, different versions of Wolverine himself. We see Eden get her arm sliced clean off, others impaled right through the chest. This is an absolute massacre. With the counter going down, there are 22 survivors, with a 0 survival rate inside the cave. Wolverine cutting down these 8 unarmed people. Then there are still the other individuals that never went into the cave, and so Arcade wants to bring them all together. What remains? Those that are able to escape the Wolverine butchering. Those that are still out there. He wants to move to the next point of the stage. That is what takes us over to Madripoor. Black Widow still doing her investigation. She has narrowed it down to a handful of locations. She goes to a Hydra agent that she may be able to get some information from. Unfortunately, Arcade is not renting out any land from Hydra. Hydra has been trying to get a peep on his operation for a long time, but they do have somebody in the game. Her name is Marina. She is one of the remaining survivors. With the Wolverines now being gone, a giant arrow in the sky pointing them in the right direction, they make their way down here. With Eden in a very serious critical condition, they arrive at the next game. Everybody's job is to sit down, each door in front of them having a camera. The game here, if you can bring your heart rate down to a nice steady 60 beats per minute inside the next 2 minutes, the door will open up and you can safely pass through. If your BPM goes above 100, then you die. If you get out of your chair, then you die. As one man's adrenaline goes too high, we see a bullet go right through his head. And so all of them, they sit here, trying not to let their blood pressure get too high. Eden and Maria are the first ones to pass through. Eden probably passing through because she is on the verge of death as it is. Alex and Leapfrog are the next ones to get the door open, with 7 contestants making it through. they come to what looks like a carnival, and inside this fairground, there are 5 keys, 1 per person. If you find these keys, you move on to the next phase. This is where Leapfrog goes on to say that parameters of this room that they are in, everyone needs to understand that they are not outside, that this place is all an illusion. It is all fake sets. With Leapfrog finding the wall barrier, Arcade says to redirect all of the pinballs and kill everybody immediately. Leapfrog being able to cut a deal with everybody so that everyone can try and survive. We see Leapfrog open up the doorway. He opens up this illusion. The pinball just barely missing all of them. Arcade is freaking out. This is something that should not be possible. Something that should not be allowed. Now, having no surveillance on their location, he wants to send every weapon they have at them. Sensor drones and murder bots being sent their way. They plan to have them dead in the next 2 minutes. Alright gang, so we are picking up with our 4 contestants. Eden, the MMA fighter, she is currently missing an arm, which means she is in no condition to be fighting or doing much of anything. But Alex is doing what he can to make sure she stays alive. As they make their way through the ventilation system, Vincent knows that Marina is something a little bit more. He knows a killer when he sees one. That is what takes us to weeks ago. At a Hydra facility, we see that she is really up to doing some training. She is training against Mark V LMDs. She is learning to fight against these robots. LMD standing for Life Model Decoy. This was a program that was really initiated by S.H.I.E.L.D. It was in the midst of an upgrade when S.H.I.E.L.D. had been disbanded. The US government had tested Mark 7s. These were robots augmented with superpowers. This was part of a potential initiative to replace costume heroes with controllable doubles. The next stage technology was recently acquired by Arcade, and so Marina is going to join the game, acquire all pertinent data, and then destroy the facility and kill everyone, especially Arcade. As we pick back up in present day, as they make their way out of the ceilings, they go to the production center. Arcade continuously using the same layout, the same blueprints, and the same old security codes. This makes it very easy for her to break into the command center, all 4 of them rushing in on Arcade. We see Arcade pull out a pistol, Marina going in on him. She tries to grab the gun, tries disarming him. She quickly learns that this is also an LMD. This is also one of the robots. That is where we see Arcade explode. As he blows this command center straight to hell. All 4 of our contestants, they are still alive, but they are in a very bad spot. The blueprints, the code, everything is fake. Backstage is just another trap. But Arcade is impressed. He genuinely thought that that might have been the big finale right then and there. But their endurance, he says, is really inspiring. If he had known that he was going to have a killer quartet, he would have lined up something a little more fun, like the Fantastic Four. But this is where he introduces Moon Knight. On the rooftops, out in the open, no weapons, no exits. They face against the Fist of Khonshu. With Moon Knight landing on the rooftop, his dialogue is definitely not the same as the Fist of Khonshu that we know. The thing is, they don't really have any sourcing audio to make Moon Knight anything relatable to what he is. With Moon Knight not being a very talkative person, the programming for his dialogue is almost embarrassing. But that doesn't stop him from going in. The first kick belongs to Eden. She gets it right in the freaking face. With Vincent grabbing Alex, letting him know that it is too late. Eden stays behind to fight Moon Knight, giving the other 3 the opportunity to run away. But Eden is missing an arm, which means there was no chance of her winning this fight. With Moon Knight crushing in her face, the other 3 go running. They leap from one building to the other, or at least Marina and Alex do. Leapfrog stops. He doesn't jump. That is because he second guesses himself. Not sure if he wants to make this jump, it is already too late for him. As he goes to get off this building, 2 of Moon Knight's crescent moons stab him in the back, leapfrog falling down to his death. Moon Knight is still in hot pursuit of the other 2. Recognizing that they are unable to outrun Moon Knight, this is when Marina decides that she is going to go toe-to-toe with him. Now, Mark V LMDs, they were built to blend in and act completely human, even if it made them weak. These Mark 7s are different, and while she can still judge the movement patterns, she keeps expecting them to emulate some kind of pain. That way she can take advantage of this. But these things do not even budge. It's like punching a brick wall and being hit by a steel bar. That is where Alex grabs hold of Moon Knight's cape. Together, they start pummeling him in the face. And as Moon Knight gets his hands on Alex, getting ready to just lay the smackdown on him, that is when Moon Knight gets shot in the head from behind. All of those robotic pieces go spilling out, and we see that Black Widow has arrived. Alright gang, so as we dive into this final one-shot, we are picking up with our last 2 contestants. Alex the paramedic, and Marina the Hydra agent. And we have Black Widow, who has just put a bullet into the head of this robotic Moon Knight. But as soon as she arrives on scene, this is where we see Marina take some of Moon Knight's crescent moons, and she throws them right into Black Widow's head. Instantly, we see Black Widow drop down to the ground. Marina is saying that this is not Black Widow, this is another trick. Now, the last 2 contestants are very interesting. One of them is a Hydra agent, the other is simply a paramedic. And he knows that he is out of his league. But he is a paramedic, which means he goes over to check Black Widow. He is not sure if he believes that this is a robot. But Marina, she knows. She knows exactly how these things operate. She's been training against them, preparing for this exact moment. But that is where we see Black Widow come back to life. Grabbing hold of Alex's arm, getting ready to break it, Marina jumps in. With lasers shooting out of the eyes of Black Widow, we see a giant explosion. And even with this explosion, our 2 contestants are still very much alive. But Black Widow has been destroyed. We watch as Arcade is simply observing all of this going on, believing that this is perfection. That even on the precipice of death, they continue to fight on. As the doors open up, just on the other side is their big prize. As everybody sits on the edge of their seats, they know what has to happen. One of the last 2 contestants, one of them is going to kill the other, and they are going to claim the prize for themselves. The only question, which one will it be? This is when Marina lets Alex know that she wants him to win, that she's not here for the money. She doesn't care about any of that. She knows that Arcade wants them to fight, but she says that she's not going to stop him from walking through those doors. This entire issue, we've been getting the inner dialogue of Alex. He has been questioning if he's a good man. He knows that he's stupid, that he's selfish. He even cheated on his wife. But while he goes through all of this in his head, Marina is just telling him to go ahead and win. She can slow her heartbeat down enough to where it would at least look like she is already dead. And then she'll get what she is truly after. We also learned that Alex had taken a big life insurance policy out in his name. That way, if he did die in here, his family, his child, they would all get the life insurance. But this is when he thinks to himself that he could win this. He could go home, wash away all of his filth. He could be the hero. That's when he grabs hold of Marina. He begins to choke her, thinking that he can end all of this right now and walk away with that $100 million. But he doesn't know who she is. He doesn't know that she works for Hydra, that she is highly trained. And so as soon as he grabs hold of her, Marina is breaking his grip. She's giving him a beatdown. Knocking him down to the ground, she could easily end him right here. Walking up to his body, this is where he turns quickly with some kind of metal shard in his hand. He stabs Marina right in the stomach. At this point, Marina has figured out that they're not going to get through this, that one of them has to die. And so the final one-on-one breaks out. Marina heavily wounded, but Alex not in a much better state. We see the two of them brawl. Alex can see that Marina is struggling just to stay on her feet. He makes one last-ditch effort. He lunges and grabs at her throat. Getting his grip, he squeezes as hard as he can. With tears coming out of her eyes, we see the lights go out. And the game is over. Alex has killed Marina, and he has won the game. As Arcade has the murderettes come out and start dancing. The music's playing, he's getting ready to walk through those doors and get his money. And while Alex is telling Arcade that he needs a medic, Arcade wants to show him something first. Arcade has been recording every single second of this, from the very minute that Alex got here, and he has been broadcasting all of this. He has been making sure that friends, co-workers, and family of Alex have all seen what he has done, from the cheating all the way to the murdering. This also means that he was caught on camera committing murder, and so even winning, even going back home, the authorities are gonna be looking for him. This is when Alex goes after Arcade, but Alex is quickly brought down. Arcade has no intent of killing Alex. In fact, he tells Alex that if you press this button, you can win the game, we'll send the money to your family. We'll send it to whoever you want. That you can keep trying to come after me, you can keep trying to kill me, or you can accept that you won, you can send the money away. By pressing that button, he accepts these terms. They give him some sedatives, and we learn that Arcade actually has something planned for him, has a unique offer, because Arcade would like to do a franchise. He needs somebody to manage a spin-off for him, because right now business is booming. Foreign governments, freaky billionaires, internet sickos across the globe. They'll all pay for this kind of entertainment. But the game isn't over yet. There is still one more guest. That is where we pick up with Black Widow, arriving to the location, but she is already too late. Arcade is on all the monitors, letting her know that everybody is dead, but also saying that if you want a face-to-face encounter, he has a proposal. He left a gift behind specifically for her. Turning the chair around, seeing nothing more than a mannequin. That is where she pulls up the card. The card that is inviting her to play in Murderworld Season 23. Arcade is telling her to join them. That if she does win, she gets to stand in the room and collect the prize. Stand right next to Arcade and do exactly what she has been trying to do. And that will be the end of this issue. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Definitely a fun way to close out this story. Natasha arriving too late, and the underdog takes it all. You know, I don't think for a second that I believed Alex would make it through this. He seemed to be too kind-hearted of an individual. But when a person is backed into a corner, you'll be surprised on what they are capable of, what they are capable of doing. Even they would be surprised on how far they can go, on how much they can push themselves. But this isn't the last that we're gonna see of Alex. It looks like Arcade definitely has some plans for him. And it was also nice that Natasha was just late to the game. She tried so very hard to get there and stop this before it was too late. But Arcade had planned for all of it. Some of these contestants, like Marina, come in believing that they have the edge, that they may have the upper hand. But Arcade, he does his research. He knows every single person and their entire life story. But now that Season 22 has come to an end, the next game is already being prepared. The star contestant, of course, is Black Widow. Now the question is, will Natasha accept this invitation, or will she continue trying to hunt him down and stop it before it ever begins? Will she enlist the help of other individuals? Or will we see Black Widow just straight assassinating other contestants trying to get to Arcade? But that'll be a story for another time and another series. Let me know your thoughts, let me know your theories. If you would like to get completely caught up on everything going on with Murderworld, be sure to check out the link in my description as well as the top of this video. It will get you completely caught up on everything going on with this series. If you would like to support the channel, you can always do so by joining the channel membership, much like Patreon having 5 different tiers. From $1 to $50, from loyalty badges to getting free comics every single month. Not only does this help out the channel tremendously, but you are getting tons of perks in the process. Now, if you are unable to do that, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like this video, hit that notification bell, and with that being said, until the next breakdown.